Hi, this lesson is on finding circumference and area of a circle. First of all, let's take a look. So we have a circle. The circumference is the distance around the circle, and to find circumference we have these two formulas. One of them is circumference equals 2 pi r, the other one circumference equals pi d. R is the radius and d is the diameter, which is twice the radius. And pi is a very famous irrational constant, which is this number. It is going to continue on forever. A very common approximation from early on is 3.14, but that's not an accurate value. It's just an approximation that we use in like lower grades. When we just start learning about that, it's actually going to be a number that your calculator is probably going to have if you use some kind of a graphing calculator, and we are going to use that. One thing that I want to clarify, so the diameter goes all the way across and the radius only goes from the center to a point, so this is why the diameter is going to be twice the radius. When we are going to write the answers, we're going to leave them in terms of pi, which is going to give us the exact answer, as well as we're going to round it to the nearest hundredth. So let's begin. Find the circumference of a circle whose radius is 3. So circumference is going to be 2 pi r, which is 3. So it's going to be 6 pi. If we leave it as the exact value, 6 pi, if you type it in the calculator, is going to be 18 or approximately 18.85. Find the circumference of a circle whose radius is 5. So circumference equals 2 pi times 5, which is 10 pi as the exact value. Or we can type it in. So 10 times pi with your calculator is going to be approximately 31.42. Find the circumference of a circle whose diameter is 14. This is where you need to be careful, because now it's the diameter. We have a formula for that. So circumference equals pi times the diameter. So it's going to be 14 pi, or if we approximate this, it's 14 times pi, and that's going to be approximately 43.98. Find the circumference of a circle whose diameter is 8. Diameter again. So the circumference is going to be pi times the diameter, which is going to give you 8 pi. This is the exact value, or we're going to type it in the calculator, and it is going to be approximately 25.13. Okay, that's all there is to it. When we need to find the area of a circle, we use the formula C equals, that's A, my apologies. The area equals pi r squared, where r is the radius and pi is the same irrational constant. There's only one formula for that, and it only uses the radius, and you need to be very careful. I've seen a lot of mistakes made when students are carelessly using one number instead of for the other. Find the area of a circle whose radius is 3. Radius, this formula uses the radius, so our area is going to be pi times 3 squared, which is 9 pi. That's our exact value, or as an approximation, 9 times pi is going to be 28.27. Find the area of a circle whose diameter is 18. I want to remind you, the formula uses the radius, so the radius is going to be the diameter divided by 2, which in our case is going to be 18 divided by 2, and that's 9. Now we can go ahead and use it. So the area is going to be pi times 9 squared, which is 81 pi. This is the exact answer, or we'll type in 81 pi into the calculator, and that's going to give us approximately, I forgot the approximate sign here, 254.47. So one thing that I do want to point out here is please be very careful with the area. when you find the area of a circle, it is very important that you remember that the formula A equals pi r squared uses the radius. So if you're given a diameter, you have to divide it by 2. Find the circumference and the area of the circle below. So what do we have here? We have a circle, its radius is 12 centimeters, and we need to find the circumference. So the circumference will be 2 pi times 12, 2 pi r, which is 24 pi, or 24 times pi is 75.398, so 79.40 squares. I'm sorry, this is just centimeters. This is the length around the circle, so it is centimeters. The area will be pi r squared, so pi times 12 squared, which is going to be 144 pi, or enter it in the calculator. That's going to be 452.389, so 0.40 square centimeters. For problem 8, find the circumference area. Be very careful. So for the circumference, we use the formula pi d, so pi times 4, which is 4 pi, or we can approximate it as a decimal, and it's going to be approximately 12.57 meters. I forgot the approximate sign. Not a huge problem, but just want to make it look right. For the area uses the radius. The radius here is going to be half of 4, which is 2. So when you find the area, it's going to be pi times 2 squared, which actually happens to give you 4 pi as well, but you need to be careful here because the units are not the same. It's going to be 12.57 square meters. Alright, we have a couple application problems. Claudia wants to place a decorative brick border around her circular flower bed. The diameter of the flower bed is 23 feet. If the price of bricks is $2.20 per foot, how much will the brick border cost? This problem essentially is asking you to find the circumference first and then use the circumference to get the price. So the circumference is going to be, since we're given the diameter here, it's pi times the diameter, which is going to be, so 23 pi. 23 pi is, here we need a decimal. So it's 72.26 feet, and the price is $2.20. So we take 72.26, multiply that by 220, so times 220, and that's going to give us 158.96. So that's going to be the price, $158.96 for that a brick border. Kevin wants to paint his circular deck. The diameter of the deck is 50 feet. If a gallon of paint covers 300 square feet, how many gallons does he need? Okay, well, we're talking about painting and square footage, so this is the area problem. First thing we're going to need to do is find the area of the deck, but you need to be careful. This is the diameter, so the radius here is going to be half of that, which is 25. Then the area is going to be pi times 25 squared. And we're going to type it in the calculator. And the decimal here is going to be 1963.50 square feet. Okay? But that's not what the question is asking. The question is asking if we have paint that, and the paint covers, a gallon of paint covers 300 square feet, how many gallons are we going to need? So what we need to do is see how many times 300 goes into that. So if I divide this number by 300, that is going to give me 6.54. But the problem is, we cannot actually buy 6.54 gallons of paint. It is only sold in gallons, which means we're going to have to buy 7 gallons. So he needs 7 gallons. Okay, and that is it. I hope this helps.